Space, the thing we have to cross.
These are the voyages of the U.S.S. Horizon.
Its ongoing mission, to seek out new life.
To swear it was unstunned the whole time.
And to boldly claim we can fix it.
Welcome back, Terrible Warriors, to our second, or is it fifth, episode in our Star Trek Adventures Living Campaign run-through. We are playing through The Displaced, the final episode in the first season of the Living Campaign. It's available at Modiphius' website. You can play through it. We skipped over a couple of those episodes. The early days, it was a little harder to follow exactly which order to play them in, so we just did whatever we wanted because we can do what we want. But anyways, go check that out, and maybe if you play through that game, you can let us know how your story was different from ours, because we're messing around a lot. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm your GM, Justin Ecock, leading my Starfleet officers through this finale. They have arrived in the Candidate 3 system. They've been beaten up a bit by gravimetric displays. Time and space is falling apart before their eyes, and now a whole planet has just unfolded in front of them. So, reality has no meaning anymore. How are you feeling, Captain Schofield? Welcome to the table.
Excited. Definitely a sense of urgency here because, as you said, the planet of that size is not supposed to be so close to an M class.
That's not supposed to happen.
It is immediately, if there are people there or things we need to move, we need to get them off that planet now with a capital N. Because that's.
I mean, the last time you were there, it seemed to be only Assessor Tredick.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows, right?
Who knows?
Like whatever.
Or what if all the people we're trying to rescue is on this new huge planet that's just shown up? It's not going to survive an M class slamming into it.
Party planets are coming in like a fortnight.
Yeah, just. Oh, God.
All right. That's Conal Macbeth, greater known in the nerd community as Dr. Terawatt.
Hello. Playing Captain Gavin Schofield.
Hey, playing Captain Gavin. I would have loved it if you played through. It was like, oh boy, everybody, I'm your captain now. Oh boy. Oh no, the Kingdom Hearts Star Trek crossover no one asked for.
Oh,
no one.
I do. No, I'm all over that shit.
All right, all over that shit is our Andorian science officer or chief medical officer back in medical bay where you belong.
Yep, Neil Tavares, who's totally into fandoms mixing up, playing Teth Chovaquil, Lieutenant Commander,
and our ship's counselor,
Erika Szabo, playing Vulcan Counselor Tazar.
And not on the horizon, we've got a couple other ships here in our fleet, leading up the U.S.S. Triton, an Akira class, is our Commander Haddock.
Yep, back, not from the dead, but from somewhere else.
Section 31.
Section 31. You don't need to know about it. Joshua Barbeau playing Commander Conal Haddock with a K. The K stands for kill. People have already died. Well, they're not going to be the last.
Whatever. They were just there to make the scene feel serious.
Made it sillier.
One of these ships, I hope, is not going to survive the end of this adventure. But we'll see. Meanwhile,
rock, paper, scissors.
on our Intrepid class, the U.S.S. Papa Bear,
you have Lieutenant Commander Bolasa, played by the Velvet Duke of the Dandies.
And when we last left off, Assessor Tredick, you've come back. Please, I need you to help protect them all. I cannot transport you down and save them at the same time. Please help me. Just as you were trying to coordinate with the other ships, this kaleidoscope of light and energy and stuff in front of you as your view screen tried to... The sensors... Because the view screen isn't showing you naked eye information. It's taking sensor data and information and recreating, and it couldn't figure out what it was seeing. So you got these weird glitches on your monitor as all of a sudden folding in space, coming out like an origami. This whole planet just materializes and is now in orbit of the M-class planet on Candidate 3 that you were aiming for. But in orbit being, they're going to crash into each other at those kinds of distances. The gravimetric, the tidal forces alone. Yeah, gravity has a fun way of working things out. Anyone who's operating sensors on any of their ships can attempt a reason and science task with a difficulty of 0 on this newly arrived planet.
Yes,
I
will.
You will, Flair, from the Papa Bear. So reason plus science.
Absolutely.
And you can have an assist from your ship's sensors.
Yeah, I made both of them.
You played both of them. So you get 3 successes. So you get 3 momentum. And this planet shows up. It's a good thing with the Papa Bear. The planet is, in fact, Organ 3. And Organ 3 was visited some months ago by the U.S.S. Papa Bear on one of their own missions. This is actually a previous Living Campaign mission that we didn't do. We ended up skipping over, so I've assigned it to this other ship.
Oh, damn.
Organ 3 was being destroyed by alien technology, and they were able to relocate the beings who lived on Organ 3, a pre-warp society, to Organ 2 without their knowledge. They transported them while they were sleeping into other identical caves nearby. They would just like wake up after the storms. But their planet was ripped apart geologically and was appeared on their screens to have been sucked into space, sucked in the same way. It's realizing now the planet wasn't destroyed. It was being moved, and it was being moved here.
Oh, crumbs. And it only just arrived, though. So that folding does not just fold space, it folds time.
Unless it's been other places.
Unless it's been somewhere
hard,
else.
It's hard to tell. But
It's
how
just
or
gallivanting
why
around the
or
galaxy.
now, those are all good questions. But is perhaps dwarfed by the question of what's going to happen to the system with a newly arrived massive planet. Organ 3 has sent catastrophic gravimetric waves into the Class M planet of Candidate 3. The ruins on the surface of the planet are being hammered, and you don't even need to roll for this to show up on your sensors, and in many places are collapsing. Throughout the turmoil, you can roll another reason and science with a difficulty of 1, assisted by ships and sensors, to reveal some stuff about what's happening in the system. And I am going to spend some threat to create a complication. So the difficulty is now going to go up to 2 because the gravimetric waves are rocking the ship and are licking it, and your science, your sensors are feeding quite a lot of just distortion and effects that are happening. So roll again, or someone else from another ship want to get in on this?
Yeah, we have
I can get in on this.
advanced sensor suites
We
here.
got
so
advanced sensor suites. So
that we've put in. So
why don't we get one of the members from your task force up onto the bridge?
you're the science guy,
So-
yeah?
I'm a
You
science.
got
So
science?
you're called up to the
I
bridge.
sure am.
Oh, yeah.
You see, you arrive up to the bridge just as this is going on over
Science
on the other
guy
ship.
here.
And
Lieutenant Commander Chovaquil, we need a hand.
so you got your science station at the back of the bridge already assigned to you and hooked up to the advanced sensor suites. Reason plus science.
Mhm.
And Schofield, if you can roll me this for your ship's science plus sensors.
Oh no!
This is a game where this is not a good
It's
thing.
a difficulty of 2, but your advanced sensors bring it to a difficulty of 1.
Okay, the ship succeeded. We got a success from the ship, and you got 1 success.
And
yeah.
you got
And
a
I-
complication.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
got complicated. Oh,
So you
I
still
know.
get the success.
Natural
You're still going to
20.
get the answer. But the complication is going to be take another breach on your sensors.
Oh, Jesus.
Because everything is like overloading and you got power conduits going off and EPS, and you put a little too much power into the sensors there, and you just like blew a fuse as it was going through. So it,
Damn
like
it. My
just as
bad.
you're going, your console like blows up in your face.
That's okay.
And
Figure
you're
it
going
out.
to take
Oh God.
you take 3 stress damage there, Chovaquil, as you get blown across the bridge from like you're there on the thing, and you're trying to scan the planet and scanning the power fluctuations, and all of a sudden blue tendrils of electricity start moving up your board and like start frying you, and then blow you across the room.
It's a good thing you're also a doctor.
Yeah, right.
but not
man.
before you got through the scanning, because you still succeeded, and it's revealed, and it shows up maybe captain on your screen by your chair, that the gravimetric disturbances are being slammed. His sensors picked up a quartet of Romulan warbirds at the far edge of the system. Those same beams that are hitting your ship seem to be at the same frequency as their cloak. So every time it hits them, you get an echo shadow of the existence of their cloak. And the disturbances are kind of canceling out the cloaking device. As long as they're in this system, their cloak is inoperable because the frequencies of these disturbances are at the same frequency that they use to maintain their cloak. So they're they're showing up on your sensors as these ripples are moving through.
Oh, damn.
Are they even able to keep the cloak up? Because
No.
my understanding is if they're cloaked, their shields are down.
No, they're not. They're not able to. As they're coming into the system, they're being rocked, and their cloak comes off, their shields come up, and they're now showing up on your sensors.
Shields down, those things did a lot of damage. to
Yeah,
us.
they did do a lot of damage, and they did a lot of damage to them as well.
did.
So you have 4 Romulan warbirds at the far edge of the system that Chovaquil picks up as he's scanning the disturbances and the
Good
and the
news
planet.
and bad news. Good news found what we needed. Bad news, I'll be right back.
I'm gonna go take a break.
So the other Captain Knight over on the Papa Bear wants to get the other commanding officers on the line. Fleet Captain, we need to figure out what we're doing here. The disturbances and the eddies and the tides are also like splitting your ships apart. You're not splitting your ships apart, but having you drift away from each other.
Right.
It's hard to keep a fixed position in space. You're like being caught up in these swells and eddies, and you're slowly being moved away from each other as your helmsmen are trying to keep the ships under control and not also collide into each other in the process.
Yeah.
Not only are you dealing now with the bombardment of the waves and a massive planet that's appeared on your doorstep, but you now have Romulans that you're racing against as well.
Are those Romulans getting any closer?
They are all 4 of them are en route to the Candidate 3 planet.
The one that we were all on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll defer to you, Captain, but if you want me to get in the way of those Romulans while you guys take care of business here, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, so the long and the short of it right now is that we have no idea what's on this new planet that just folded in, other than, well, no, that was the residence of that other species that got moved off, and then this planet's now just shown up. So as far as we understand, this planet is uninhabited, derelict?
Agreed.
Okay, so we need to get down on ground, and then I believe that is the responsibility of your crew and your ship there, Bolasa. I need you guys to get down there and get to Assessor Tredic. Your ship, Commander Haddock, Lieutenant Commander Haddock, Commander Haddock. Commander Haddock, your ship and mine, we're going to see if we can hold off the Romulans as long as we can through this mess. Because we do not have time on our side here. And if you need additional assistance teleporting people out or doing scans or something, let us know.
Captain Knight speaks up. With due respect, Fleet Captain, the Triton can handle the Romulans. The Horizon needs to handle Organ 3. You have the power of the ship, the new planet that's come into orbit.
Fuck.
We have a planet and the disturbances that are swirling energies all around the Tilical planet that we're investigating. Perhaps the Horizon can do something about the disturbances and protect the ruins for the away mission to prevent these 2 planets from destroying each other.
Like try to find a way to stop the planets from colliding?
You've got like that's also a pressing matter as well. Maybe not just colliding, but the gravimetric disturbances that are emanating from both planets are interfering with each other. They could rip this system apart.
There is,
and then it doesn't matter if we stop the Romulans, and it doesn't matter if we find out what Assessor Tredic is about. We need to make more time for everyone.
Okay.
There is a situation that happened not a few years back on the Enterprise where they had to power up the tractor beams to move an asteroid, but and
I didn't know Galaxy Class could do that.
Well,
out of game, I was like, you can't move a planet.
No,
you can't move a planet, but you can buy time.
You
might
bump
be able
it.
to, and because we're
hold
not
it
just
for
dealing
a
with a
bit.
planet, we're also dealing with gravimetric energies that are emanating from both planets and colliding into each other. And it might be like using you as an antenna to help redirect it safely out of the system, so they're not obliterating each other.
I have a wild idea.
Jared Cherney,
Jared
Cherney,
like
the
it
engineering team. Like you could head down to the engineering department right now and start brainstorming ideas with them. But something that Knight is like, we've got, the Triton is a capable ship, Captain. We need you to give our
at the
people
very
more
least
time.
I can buy you time.
If we go down to deal with the Tilical and no one is handling these gravimetric disturbances,
You're not gonna.
it doesn't
last long.
matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a wild idea then. Let me know like out of game if this is possible. Because you're telling me that like the Galaxy class ship should be able to at least buy them time or redirect some of the gravimetric disturbances.
Well, in the episode I'm thinking of, they basically used all of their power and blew out their tractor beam just to move an asteroid an
A
inch.
little bit, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So this is a planet. I don't know that you'll have the means to do it, even if you use every last ounce of power you have.
What I'm thinking
but-
is if both our ships work in tandem, we might be able to redirect the gravimetric disturbances at the Romulan ships.
Nice.
We can give it a go.
Lieutenant Commander Teth Trovaquil, can you head on down to engineering as a scientist and see if this is possible?
Absolutely, yeah.
Get yourself bandaged up first.
Yes.
I do that on the way.
Bandaged up on the way.
He just has a
think you have
hypo
much
spray, just kind of
choice.
shoves it into his neck.
Yeah.
Good to go.
I want to give you a job and help me understand what job I can give you, counselor.
That is a very good question, Captain.
Because I want to include you, and I'm trying to find a spot. To do that.
You have.
Absolutely.
Let me see your character sheet real quick.
Yeah.
if they're going down to the planet to talk to the people,
You've got command and you've got
Mhm.
science and
Maybe you should
medicine
send her
all
with
at
them.
4.
Maybe
beam
I
her
should be
onto
sent
his,
down.
I was gonna say,
onto
could
his
we
ship.
send her
Yeah.
to your ship?
I
to
think
go
that might be a
down
good idea.
to talk with them.
I
Okay,
think.
let's do that.
they might need a counselor more than we do.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're
The
going to be
counselor
with
over.
Szabo.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm
Right.
fine with doing so.
You
I was
know
hoping
and
to
you've
do
met
so.
Tredic before.
Yes.
You've met the assessor,
Yes.
and so
yes.
it might be easier to have familiar faces.
I think so.
Good move.
Absolutely.
Captain Knight agrees.
With all this gravimetric pressure, they're under a lot of shock.
Oh, Christ.
So,
No.
Tazar, you head down to the transporter
Hmm.
room to beam over to the Papa Bear,
Mhm.
and Schofield and Chovaquil are heading down to engineering to
Sounds
talk
good.
with Chief Engineer Jared Cherney and work a plan. And you leave, Stephen Prince on the bridge. He can move things around. You also, we've never used it yet. The Horizon has the ability to do saucer separation. I don't know if you know. Yeah,
I did. I did
remember
notice that.
so you have a battle bridge,
Mhm.
and you have because you're not a Trekkie, you might not remember all the details. The saucer and the star drive can act independently of each other as 2 separate ships. You can
The
put,
tractor beam is located specifically on the star drive.
on the star
correct?
drive. The star drive has the deflector beam, tractors, torpedoes. There's no torpedoes on the saucer section. The saucer section has sensors and the phaser array,
Phasers, yeah.
and also the living quarters. So you would evacuate everyone from the star drive into the saucer section and put the star drive in more harm's way and have essential personnel only, and then the saucer section can move off and keep all the kids and families that are on board a little bit more safer.
I was going to say,
That is important.
I
Both
was
in
actually
harm's way.
because but
That is
between the two
important.
recordings, I was reading like saucer separation, and I was like in the back of my head thinking like, I wonder how I could use that for this.
If you're
'cause I
feeling
think
like you
that
don't
would-
have enough ships in this system,
Yeah.
I feel like, oh yeah, we got 4 ships too. Doink. Like, what you got? I
the
think
only
that
thing
would.
is the saucer section also can't go to warp because warp drive
Really?
is on the star drive section.
oh crap!
Saucer section just has high impulse.
No, but we can at least send all of the less important
Sublight
people on that
speeds
thing
only.
and get them the heck away from all this trouble.
Good move. Okay, I'm just
That's my advice as the doctor.
Good idea. Yes.
I'd like
I
to
mean,
not
if it
patch
comes
up
to it.
civilians.
Okay.
At the very least, it might be prudent to move people to the saucer section.
Let's do that preemptively.
Yeah.
Let's move all non-essential personnel into the saucer in the event that we need to detach.
We
And
have-
then we've got transporters, don't we, on the saucers? So like in the event that the back half of the ship is put into immediate danger, we can immediately pull everybody off and just let it
Presumably,
go.
although this, remember, gravimetric disturbances and transporter energy, they don't like each other.
Yeah.
So,
Or
you
they
know,
like each other too
sometimes
much.
you might like,
We might
let's get
lose a
everyone,
few
you beam
people.
them back, and they all just kind of beam into a single mass.
yeah.
of
Gotta be
gross,
careful.
Like in the
Steven
motion
Universe.
picture. All right,
So if I'm understanding the
Remember
plan,
that.
you want both of our ships to work together on the planet problem, and just redirect the gravimetric energies at the Romulans.
Try to do 2 things at once. Yeah, like
I think-
to redirect those gravimetric energies at the Romulans
I think
would
the
occupy
the
them.
Triton's got the right idea to head out and engage the Romulans.
Okay.
That
You go
plan,
fight
yeah.
them. I'll deal with the gravimetric stuff and
Somehow.
then
So
You'll
there
deal
are
with-
yeah.
there are 3 scenes in
I'll
each
figure out how to
pathway.
stop a planet.
We're gonna do them each one
Good
scene at a
luck.
time,
You know, the
and then go
usual.
to the next path and do that scene. But understand that those scenes are happening concurrently with each other. So path 1, engaging the Romulans, U.S.S. Triton.
Now, each of these players can still participate in this scene.
You can still be
as-
there. We can create support characters that are crew members of the Triton, and can be there.
Someone can be Carlton Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Carlton Flash Gordon, as well as if we need other like helmsmen and things like that. In fact, do we want to very quickly what positions would you like to be as a support character? This is not if you want to be something that's not science, not counselor. Why don't we let Erika? Do you want to be Commander Carlton Flash Gordon?
Oof, I don't know.
Do you want
No
to
pressure.
Do you want to be our helmsman?
Pardon?
Do you want to be our helmsman, person flying the Triton?
Sure. Let's go
Okay.
for it.
Do you want to be Flash Gordon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
I could see it in your eyes.
my friends call me Flash because sometimes I forget underwear.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
He's
give
a free
you,
baller.
Oh.
I'm handing you someone else's
TMI.
character sheet, but don't worry so much about values and focuses.
and ignore the name.
'cause those
Just,
are different characters.
You just
Um,
yeah.
Steve.
You're just using it for stats,
Steve.
so they're really quickly work
Right.
for a con officer.
Sure.
And so, what is your con officer's name?
Steve.
It's not. That's not. That's
That-
Steve
yeah, it's not-
Armstrong is
was a
Brent's
separate
character. I just
Oh.
grabbed you someone else's character sheet just to
Make up a name.
rather than create something from scratch. We're just going to repurpose it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm asking you, what would you like the name to be? Anyone? Any suggestions? Any name? It doesn't have. We're going to do this 5 more times, so we
Sandra.
don't need to spend a whole
Or
lot of time
Richard.
on
Did
it.
you just say Sandra?
Or Richard.
Sandra. There we go.
Sandra Richards.
Sandra
Richards.
Richards.
So
I love
there
it.
you go.
It's
Lieutenant Sandra
wonderful.
Richards, helmsperson of the Triton.
Sorry, did you say Sandra Redshirt or Richard?
Richards.
Yes.
With an S.
Everyone on
the
your crew
end.
wears red shirts.
Although if you go
Yeah,
down to the planet,
red
I want a red shirt that dies for no reason.
Not going
Okay, well then
down.
that's your
Not
job.
going down without
Okay,
a
so you're-
fight,
You can be
guys.
chief of
Officer.
security.
You're
Sounds
chief of
good.
security on the Triton. You'll be the tactical,
tactical
officer.
and your name is whatever you want it to be.
And I'm going to give you...
Schmorf.
I'm going to give you this character sheet
Schmorf.
here that you can repurpose, and you can write a character name down.
Like the
This
ship
is a good time
mascot.
here. Those
We-
cheat sheets I've given you.
Sure.
None of us
Someone
actually ever
find for me
remember
the
his
helmsman.
name. He has a name, but none of us remember what his name is. He's
So who's the comms officer on the Triton?
Steve Abel.
Abel.
sounds
Abel.
very
Abel. Ensign Abel
Ensign Abel.
on comms.
All right, let's go mess up some Romulans.
They're sending their single smallest ship to come fight me. Like, I'm almost insulted. It's 4 Romulan ships versus this boat.
Yeah, but this thing was built to fight Borg.
That's true. This boat was built to fight Borg, so this is actually.
And also,
puts us at
we're
an
not the
advantage.
smallest ship. He's got
yeah,
the
that's the
smallest
medium ship.
Actually, yes, no, that's correct. Theirs is the
Yeah.
smallest science vessel.
All right, let's put our ship directly in the path of those Romulans.
So as you're moving in, some gravimetric waves are hitting. They're damaging the warbirds, and this kind of situation, you all got walloped as you came in. So it might be a more even match than you realize. We have.
I turn on my ablative armor because we have that.
Oh, what?
We have a blade of armor.
Oh,
so
damn.
the whole ship, like the
Wow.
outside, kind of chink, chink, chink,
Oh,
chink, and it's kind
cool.
of like an armadillo bit of
my
armor that
God.
kind of like slides
On
out.
top
across
Oh,
of
the
that's
shields.
dope.
On top of shields, we got a double-layered hull, basically.
Oh, yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. I don't know what it does mechanically, but we've got it, so I turn it on.
That's
It
so
works.
fucking rad.
That's all that matters.
Commander, could we scan for weaknesses? See how the gravimetric
Yeah, no,
waves
that's not
have
really something we can do.
Oh, there. I just need to find the warbird stats. So the
We only have the armor. We don't have any scanning ability.
It says rapid fire torpedoes.
No, it's one of-
advanced sensor suites.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
one of the
sure.
sensor.
Let's do it. We got advanced sensor suites.
I'm asking for permission to do it rather than can we do it.
And fast targeting
I've got-
systems. So
we've got
find
it.
the best place to target. Yeah. Captain's log, stardate, whatever. These are the voyages of the U.S.S. Triton. Its one-shot mission to explode in near strange new worlds.
Can I transfer off?
Nope.
I would like a transfer effective immediately. Oh my god.
I can't wait to go down with this ship.
That's gonna be so much fun.
Captain's log, supplemental. After a quick discussion with my fellow captains, we've agreed that the Triton will engage the Romulan warbirds while the Horizon attempts to channel most of the destructive energies away from the planet for as long as it can. And the Papa Bear lands on the planet itself to lend aid to Assessor Tredick and to gather data and artifacts. While 4-to-1 odds are a bit steep, I'm confident that the Triton was built to take on such numbers alone. So we're going to give them a hell of a run. Our mission is to keep them away from both the Horizon and the Papa Bear for as long as we're able, at whatever cost. May fortune favor us today. Kapla! It is a good day to die.
Jesus.
Blah.
Applause.
We're going to earn that blood wine that Captain
going down
Cool is
without a
waiting
fight.
for.
The Triton streaks away from the planets and moves into attack position to engage with the Romulan warbirds. The Romulans, in response, split off into two paired elements and will maneuver and try to outflank the Triton and overwhelm them with superior force and numbers.
Hey, Ensign. Hail those Romulans.
Hail those Romulans. All right.
Hell no.
I will-
Tell them they need to surrender.
Ensign Abel hails those Romulans.
So I have you try to hail them,
Mhm.
and you get no response. All you're
Well-
getting on your sensors is their weapons are powered up, their shields are raised.
Well,
and they're
regardless
moving in
of
on an
whether or
attack
not
pattern.
they're feeling responsive, send a message just on an open frequency telling them that if they don't surrender, they will all be destroyed.
You got it, sir. Ensign Abel types in that
Who
message
is on
and
the
sends
comms?
it.
Who's on the comms? Give me comms plus security.
Okay. That's an 11. I got 2 successes.
The ship assists.
Okay. You, as you're trying to send out the captain's message, you receive an encoded response
Oh.
from one of the lead Romulan vessels, and it is deciphered as Starfleet intelligence. And it comes up onto your
Wait,
screen,
what?
text only across your monitor. Friendly, will render aid ASAP. Focus fire on wingman. Sigmund.
Immediately
have a
flip that message
We
to
have
you.
a Starfleet operative on board that ship.
We, I don't know. It seems we have a turncoat aboard one of their ships. I don't know. Do we trust it or is it a ruse?
Well,
There are people on the Triton who, on a previous living campaign mission that we never did, may have encountered Sigmund when she was last seen flying off on one of her own runabout classes, working for Starfleet Intelligence with goals to infiltrate the Romulan.
The Romulan Empire.
Would those
Romulan
people
Empire.
be like my first
And
officer?
so your first officer, Flash, and maybe even our ensign here, like, holy shit, it's Sigmund! She's here!
Sigmund? Whee!
I haven't been on this ship long enough. Can we trust her?
I mean, no, you can trust her about as much as you can trust Harry Mudd, but
Yeah.
Who else are you gonna try?
Harry Mudd.
I would say in my experience that you let her chaos play out against other people and everything's fine.
Shoot that one last.
Shoot that one last.
Oh,
Copy
we
that.
do get to shoot it, right?
the Romulans are
Last.
All right.
approaching weapons fire. They're
All
going to
right.
open fire.
We have fast targeting systems.
Okay.
So let's
And scan for weaknesses.
I would love to
Yes,
scan for weaknesses.
please.
Okay. So we're going to go turn for turn.
Okay.
Very quickly. Everyone's going to get around.
Okay.
And so you get to decide in terms of initiative, like, because you can all work together as a team, who's going to go in what order. And ultimately, like, captain, like, you're the captain on the Triton. So how do you want to go about this as we're flying in towards you? Got 4 warbirds. One of them might be friendly. And you've been asked to target the wingman. So actually, let me...
So they got like a diamond formation.
Yeah, they've broken up into
Yeah.
into pairs,
Oh, into
and they're
pairs.
breaking out and trying to flank you and try and outmaneuver and get past you towards the planet.
And specifically, which one had the friendly on it?
You don't know.
We
You
don't
got an
know.
encoder transmission from what it seems to be coming
Oh.
from one of the 2 head ships.
Not the wingman, the ones on the outside.
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we're targeting the outside ships first, but weaknesses. Yeah.
So can you just assign the order of
Scan
doing
for
what?
weaknesses.
scan for weaknesses.
Okay.
So
And-
that's one of your moves,
And then
right?
So it's
So then
reason
after that,
and
then I gotta
science,
Okay.
assisted by sensors and security. I succeeded with both.
And what's the difficulty on?
It's difficulty 3.
Yeah. So you need the
Ship
ship to,
gets,
to jump in on that as well.
Yep.
for a communication or a sensor slash
Sensor security.
does not add anything useful.
Okay. So you don't have enough successes to meet that.
Can I use a momentum?
You can use a momentum spend to purchase an extra die.
Then I will do that. I succeeded.
Okay, great. So what happens with that move?
If I succeed, then the vessel's next attack before the end of the sensor operator's next turn, it gains piercing 2 quality. So it makes it a more effective attack.
Piercing 2.
When you attack. So you've readied the future move.
Yes.
Awesome. Really cool.
When the ship attacks, right? Doesn't have
Correct.
to be you specifically attack.
Okay. Yeah. And does the ship itself, you also get a move? Are you moving it in from this zone into the next zone?
Definitely.
So you're now in there. And the you've moved into the center as the Romulans all move.
Because we're scanning for weaknesses, we can't fire before you get an action, right? That's how that works?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like you're like charging your action in
Got it.
advance. So the Romulans move in, and they are going to open fire.
Bring it.
They both miss. So
Nice.
the Romulans they fire and they glance off of your shields and
Good job,
you're,
Helmsman.
you're all right. Then
Yeah.
back to the Triton.
All right, let's open fire. Who wants to open fire?
I'll
I guess
fire a
that's,
weapon.
Yeah. Open fire on the outside ships.
Hell yeah. Control plus security.
Yeah, roll for
He
the
gets an
ship.
assist for the ship, yeah. Which would be what? Weapons plus security, I'm guessing.
Ooh, I have only 1 success on my side.
That's a critical success.
Oh dang!
There we go.
So as it goes in, I mean their shields are glitching out. Their cloaking device seems to be working on part of the ship, and so their shields on this one ship isn't really activating because if it's a critical success, you also create an advantage. And so in this case, the gravimetric displays are playing haywire with their own cloaking device, as we described, and you get through a part where their shields broke because the cloak tried to activate, but then the cloak failed.
Oh, crap.
And so you just got like right through the gap in their armor, and it hits a critical part, and their engine goes out, and the ship starts to spin with only one nacelle working.
Brock yells,
And-
Right into one of the other ships?
No, but it's completely disabled.
Brock
now. It can no longer move.
Brock
Yeah,
Samson's
of
like,
course.
booyah!
And you're starting
Nailed
to see
him.
Your sensors are showing ship-wide
Nice.
power failures on one of the four ships.
Nice.
And it's not necessarily destroyed, but it's been disabled.
Can we move forward a zone as well? We
Yep.
get a movement.
Yeah. So now you're in close range with the Romulans, with the
I'm all
3
for it.
ships, and they one of those other ships are going to. I gotta do better than I did last time. Oh,
That's a couple of 2s.
oh, that's a couple of 2s. So with a success there with their disruptor banks, that's 10 dice. So I have 6, 7, 8.
Also, if it matters, that last attack we just did had, what was it, piercing 2?
Yeah, it does. It's 8,
2 shields?
and vicious 1 would only count if it caught through and caught breaches. I'd get to roll for additional damage to breaches. So you take you taking, what did I say, 8? Did I say 8?
You said 8.
8 to your shields,
Shields are at 50%.
and it's your go.
Kill them!
So you've already got 3. So who's next? So we've already had
They've gone.
your sensors go. You've already had your who rolled to the attack?
Neil.
Neil did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we got 3 other moves still to do. You can still like fire from your station as well. Like that's fine. And you can, as a commander, do you have the commander
commanding
thing?
officer
So commander
reference,
officer, you have the ability to give turns to other players
Right.
with your orders.
I can
who then act on your order?
direct or something like that. Yeah.
As far as the restore, can I like fix things that are broken on the ship?
Yep. Which
Do we got
currently there's
anything
nothing-
broken?
I mean, you've taken some damage when you first arrived in the system, but you haven't
Mhm.
worked towards repairing them.
Yeah, we've got a
Okay.
couple of
Yeah, we
breaches.
can definitely do that.
But
But if you want to say, you're saying
Yeah.
kill them, are you ordering, or you want to give a direct command to your tactical officer to fire again?
I'll fire again, Captain. Totally.
well, we just took 50% damage to shields, but we're still sitting pretty. So yeah.
All
Blow them
right.
up. Hit them again. Hit them again.
Hit 'em again.
That worked really
Do it.
well.
With pleasure.
The other
And you've
side
got-
ship.
you've got
2
some momentum here
successes.
to spend.
3 successes.
3
we don't need that
successes.
momentum.
Right.
All right. So which one you're targeting?
don't
The other.
need no
You're targeting the other wing ship,
The other wing ship.
the one that opened fire on you, and roll the damage from your phasers.
All right. So 2 1s, 2 2s, and a pair of
2,
5s.
4, 6. 8. So you dealt 8 damage plus 2 effects. Does the phasers have, what does it say under its
It
qualities?
says they have versatile 2, area of spread, and medium range.
Okay, cool. So the you hit the shields of the wing ship as it's coming, and their shields drop. They have no shields now on the second wing ship. So you've disabled one, you've lowered the shields on the other. As the third ship is now going to open fire on the Triton, and I rolled an 18 and a 10, so they both miss. They so once again, and so they glance off your shields. Even at 50%, you don't take any damage as they move around. This continues. This back and forth. You're holding your own against the Romulans as we're going to move over to the other scene here.
Ooh.
Path 2, the Papa Bear. Ooh. Captain's log supplemental. After a quick discussion with my fellow captains, we've agreed that while the Triton engages the Romulan warbirds and the Horizon attempts to channel most of the energies away from the planet, the Papa Bear will land on the planet itself to lend what aid we can to Assessor Tredick and gather what data and artifacts we're able. Being the only ship capable of landing on the planet, there's no time to use shuttles, and the constant barrage of gravimetric interference makes transporters a little shaky at best. You need to land the ship itself in order to render aid to Assessor Tredick. Furthermore, getting boots on the ground will keep the Romulans from taking any artifacts themselves should the Triton fail to keep them away from the planet. The Papa Bear enters orbit around the Tilakal planet and descends to the planet's surface. Now, we have characters playing support roles on different ships. Let's keep you doing your same support roles just to make things a little easier. So if you're the con officer on the Triton, you're the con officer on the Papa Bear.
My support role is commanding officer, so does that make me what, Captain Knight? Does that make
You can play the role of Captain Knight. Yeah,
All right.
sure.
Captain
Yeah.
Knight.
And so, who was the con officer on the Triton? The helmsman.
Ensign Abel.
That
That
was you.
that
You
was
were
on the Triton.
Communications, comm.
Yeah.
You were the pilot. So Erika,
Yes.
daring plus con with a difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's engines. You need to actually land on the planet.
Yes,
Boy.
You're blue alert. You're bringing the
Okay,
planet down
daring
onto
plus
planetfall.
con.
Ooh, blue alert.
And so
But her-
Captain calls blue alert, and all the lights on the bridge change blue, and the struts come out of the bottom of the ship, and you're bringing the planet to a landing.
Oh, that's right. This one can actually
her
land
actual
on planets.
character is on this ship, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, the counselor actually is on the ship.
yes.
So
How quaint.
hand over the character sheet to Conal.
Okay.
Conal's now the helmsman.
Oh, what?
On
Why?
the
What's
Papa
going
Bear.
Wait, this
Because-
Conal or this
Yeah.
Conal?
To Conal Haddock.
Okay.
Conal Haddock, so that guy.
Because yeah, you're right. The
Okay.
counselor's on the Papa Bear.
Yeah, I'm like, can I be
So-
in 2
okay.
places? Can I be
Right,
two
yeah, you're
people?
on
can't be in 2
this.
places.
So
Yeah, so.
Josh here
I'm rolling
Josh will
next.
play
Yeah,
the
yeah. You got it.
Daring con,
Oh, nice.
engines and con.
Well, you got
difficulty 2.
1.
I got 1.
It's just a little sunk in. I thought it was a 1.
I'm going to spend threat, and I'm going to increase that to a difficulty of 3.
Well, fine.
Failing to succeed will result in the ship taking a hard landing.
We can survive a hard landing.
Hey, you deal with your ship. I don't want this
Okay,
ship
fine.
broken.
Spending momentum.
What?
Another success.
Okay, all right, fine. So the
Justin's getting the damage dice up. Fine, puts it down.
the ship is being rolled by waves, but you've got a really good helms officer there, and the as the ship, you're trying to get it, the struts come out the bottom, and you make a landing on like one of the more open areas of the ruins, and you hear like the whole ship as the artificial gravity kind of turns off to acclimate to the ship's to the actual planet gravity, and the whole like the inertial dampeners kind of break, and you're feeling natural gravity inside the ship, and like daylight coming through the surface of the top of the bridge, and you've successfully brought the Papa Bear into a landing on the planet, but the planet is like quaking, and up in the sky is Oregon 3 moving ever closer, heating up in the atmosphere, red flames and everything as the atmospheres themselves are starting to pressurize and burn. Who's on the away team? We've got Lhasa and Tazar, and
And we will need a security complement.
Yep.
so that we can do our work without distractions
Okay.
/
Yeah.
phasers.
Okay.
That would be.
I
handy.
have more than one. Where'd it go? Here it is. So we've got who would like to help be security on the away team?
I'll be the security. Sure.
You got the sheet?
Okay, so you've already got one sheet, and who would like to be the other security on the away team? We're gonna take 2 security
Conal?
people. Conal.
Yeah, if you guys
All
want.
right. I'm
Yeah, I
also
can
going to
do that.
give you
Sure.
my other Stephen Prince character sheet. So you can rename that something else. So let's name our red shirts.
Am I going to use this other one?
Yeah.
How about my red shirt's a Vulcan?
A Vulcan. What's
Yeah.
your
Named.
It's a girl, Xena.
Xena,
Yeah.
nice warrior.
Yeah.
But it's like Z apostrophe NA.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I
Zana?
was thinking.
Zana.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Zana.
Yeah.
So you're Zana,
Zana.
and who are you? You want to just be like Jeff?
Officer Schmabel.
Officer Jeff Schmabel.
Jeffrey Schmabel.
Jeffrey Schmabel. And you're both non-cons. You don't have pips. You're non-commissioned officers. You just serve on the ship. You never went to the academy. So you can also spend momentum or threat to escalate and go down with assault rifles, or Type 3 phasers, or you're all just gonna be equipped with Type 2 phasers.
I'm going to give you some threat and get those Type 3.
It's a threat
three.
per. No, let's just do one.
No, that's fine.
So
You're a hoarder. You don't scare me.
So you're equipped with.
Yeah, he collects them and he
Oh,
doesn't spend
oh boy.
them. So,
So you're equipped with.
You understand he's gonna spend them all on me. You
You're-
keep fucking.
You're equipped with Type 3 phasers.
it would make sense. You're fighting a planet.
And
It's true.
you just walk off the ramp out the back of the ship down onto the planet's surface.
Wise choice.
Thank you, Xena.
You remember the main hypostyle hall in the emitter array where you last encountered Assessor Tredick. And that would be a logical place
choice.
to head to. The skies are filled with strange clouds and occasional streaks of meteorite or debris burning up in the atmosphere. The ground shakes from time to time in reaction to gravimetric waves striking the planet, and in the distance, tall pillars of stone shudder and topple to the ground. As you are approaching the damaged hypostyle hull, faint streaks of glowing blue energy coursing up and down the pillars along the wall. You see Assessor Tredick's tall frame rushing towards you.
Assessor.
There is no time, please help! He's waving
So we go to him.
for you to go.
Yeah.
As everything
go.
around you is just starting to just crumble to
Yes.
dust. As the planet up above is starting to fill the view in the sky.
Tazar, if you can help Assessor in whatever way, and we'll support you.
Absolutely. Assessor, what can we do? How can we
He's
help
just-
you?
He's not really talking. He's muttering to himself, but he's muttering in multiple languages. A universal translator can't keep up with all the languages and that kind of speed. Many of the languages it's never heard before, but also some of those languages keep intermittently becoming telepathic as well, moving in and out of different. And some of them are your own native language playing out, and you're hearing it in Bajoran, you're hearing it in Vulcan, and
You can
just
speak a lot of
moving.
languages.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say I do have a focus in linguistics.
Yeah, so you can understand
Me
most
too.
of these, but even with a focus in
Good.
linguistics, you're still
It's a good
hearing
thing we're
sounds
here.
and languages that you've
It's just
never
a
heard before.
jumble.
And he's just saying,
Okay.
"There's no time. We must hurry. And
Okay.
the few words that you hear coming through,
Sometimes actions speak louder than words, so I think at this point.
and actually having the linguistic skills going to help because the
Good.
universal translator is it can't keep up fast
Okay.
enough as it's constantly having to skip between languages, some changing mid sentence.
Okay.
Autocorrect. It's not working out.
Yeah.
No.
We
Should we
must
continue
rush.
to
We must
advance?
get them to safety. We must get them to safety.
Get who to safety?
Ashtamala?
There's just no time. There's just no time as he's just marching towards the hypostyle hall.
Does this have anything to do with the transmission that we had seen previously?
There's just not enough time. I can't explain this all. We have to get them to safety.
Okay. Okay.
Go with
There's
it,
no
see
time.
Really
we
wants-
understand, but
And he's saying,
what
and it's,
to
and
do?
it's in your mind now. Safety, 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 safety. Just in your
Yeah.
head,
I
repeating.
think there's a point where we just have to follow,
Follow him and
assessor's
see
actions.
what's going on.
Yeah. In this.
So
If
you-
not when, then where?
You work your way
There we
down the
go.
long hallway that you first entered into the hall, into the hypostyle hall, and you pass through 3 sections. The walls are glowing with a solid gold color as energy continues to pulse around you. There's this unusual hum in the air as you pass through these sections. Lhasa, you're the most scientifically minded out of our people on this away team. So using your tricorder, you could scan these sections before you walk through them. It's a difficulty of 2, and it can be reason science or reason engineering. Also, the Stephen Prince clones.
I'm going to go reason and science. That makes the most sense.
Difficulty of 2, though. If anyone would like to assist with their tricorders.
Can I assist?
Mm-hmm.
Quite easily.
Okay, easily.
You're walking down these hallways, and every time you feel that hum and that energy, you're being transported into another hallway. And they all look like the same hallways, but every time you walk into a new section, you're moving into a different location as you continue to move down these hallways. In fact, your interference on your tricorder, you're losing your location on the planet every time you move into a different section, and you feel this hum, this like static on your hair, and you're being moved. You're teleporting as you're going through.
What is this?
The
Most
energy
intriguing.
disruptions, every time you move through, by the 3rd section, you can no longer determine where on the planet you are or how far you are from the Papa Bear. All this time, Tredic staying in front of you, muttering, "There's no time. We have to get them to safety."
We're not moving in a linear fashion.
From the Papa Bear, can I initiate a scan to try to locate their position?
So from the Papa Bear, Captain Knight, you're tracking your away team as they enter into the hypostyle hall, and then all of a sudden they're 10 kilometers away, and then you lose them.
Oh, well.
They're
Let's go.
out of sensor range. Everything's
Well,
gone. And
let's
maybe
get
you were
outta
trying to keep open comms channel, but the minute they entered the hypostyle hall, static took over. And now you're just like, I guess we'll wait for them then. This is fine.
These bonus successes generate momentum for us, though, right?
Everything's on fire.
Yes,
This is fine.
Everything's fine.
Fine.
Although, there you go. How many bonus successes did you get?
They got 4 successes, and you said it was difficulty 2. So.
Yeah. So there you go. So 4 successes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
Good memory.
As you turn out the 5th hallway, your 5th time transporting to wherever you are, Tredic leads you out into open air. You see a raised platform with a ruined pentagonal entrance to their right, along with several pentagonal obelisks in front of them, with various stone spires tall in the distance. On the platform is a 2-meter wide stone pentagon with blue energies coursing along its surface. You've seen this before. Any of the engineers or technically inclined players will immediately note some of its form is of a holographic transmitter. It's the same kind of thing that you saw before,
Okay.
being powered from an unseen source. There's a flickering image of a tall humanoid alien female clad in a form-fitting dress with what appears to be wings on its back and a small sweeping tiara clasping to the back of its head.
Oh, that person again.
She has dark, short hair, and the most striking features of her face are her wide open eyes that are solid blue with no evidence of an iris or pupil. This is Ashtamalia, who you encountered last time you were here. But it's muted. There's no audio, and it appears to be a recording playing on loop of the portion of the transmission you had seen before. There's no audio. Tredic waves his weird-looking hands in the direction of the transmitter. That has been damaged from gravimetric storms, but it is not what I want to show you. He indicates to the ruined pentagonal passage in front that leads towards a long corridor slanting down into the planet's surface. This is where I need your aid. Up in the horizon.
Yay!
Oh boy.
Oh, fuck.
So this is going to be focused on technobabble. I warn you.
Sweet.
These 2 are.
I'm down for
on
it.
the ship. We're support.
Got a few questions before we continue. And I hate to do this to you because I have had 2 ideas since we've been doing other things. How far is this other planet to the M-class planet that everyone's on?
It is in orbit and disintegrating.
Jesus Christ. How large is it? Is it larger than the M-class?
It's larger than the M-class.
Fucking hell.
It's like a super.
But it's in orbit?
It appeared in orbit, but it's not going to sustain its orbit.
Okay.
Its own orbit.
Like
this is
high
where
orbit,
this
I
scene,
imagine?
This setup is happening right now.
Really, the M-class orbit's in its orbit more than anything
the
else.
Horizon is attempting to either deflect Organ 3 or just enough to keep it from crashing into the Tilical planet, or redirecting enough of the gravimetric disturbances away from the Tilical planet to allow the Papa Bear enough time to help Tredic and gather priceless data and artifacts.
Okay,
The
we're going to
Horizon
buy
is the
time.
largest, most powerful vessel, is best designed to deal with powerful gravimetric and tetraionic energies that are swirling around both the Class M planet and Organ 3.
Okay, Captain's Log Supplemental. After a quick discussion with my fellow captains, we've agreed that the Papa Bear will land on the planet to assist Assessor Tredick and gather data and artifacts, what data and artifacts they can. We'll move the Horizon into orbit of the Telecol planet and attempt to channel most of the destructive energies away from the planet for as long as possible. The Triton, meanwhile, will move to engage the Romulan warbirds to buy us a little more time. Godspeed to all of us.
So this is all happening when all three of you broke off. So the Papa Bear is now making landfall onto the planet, and the Triton is going off to engage with the Romulans. And this is at this time, you are now moving faced with the major quandary of somehow delaying Organ 3 from slamming into the Telecol planet long enough for the Papa Bear and their crew to complete their mission.
If I survive, I want the nickname Atlas.
Alternatively, you may choose on
hold the
focusing on
planet.
deflecting as much of the gravitational energy waves from the planet as possible. Keep the planet from being torn apart. So you got a couple of, like, there's no real answer to this other than a lot of big problems. So you've got a couple of ideas here you want to work with.
Schofield.
Because I don't know if any of my ideas though are going to conflict with what you've written down again. So I'm just gonna run them by you.
I'm open for it.
I imagine that like the blast from detonating the back half of the ship's warp core into the planet would also hit the M-class planet because we're too close. Because I'm thinking an explosion of that magnitude might delay or push away a celestial body of that size.
Yeah, it might also ignite the atmosphere.
But it also might ignite the atmosphere on the planet that it's currently next to, so it's too close is the answer to that question.
So not deflecting.
You might
we're
not
gonna
be able
hold
to
it.
prevent it. It's all about just...
Yeah, it's just buying time at
Our
this point.
tractor
It's not
beam might
preventing it.
not be strong
Oh,
enough.
it's
all of you
it's
can
not
be
at all
here
strong
as
enough.
members of the engineering team and just talking and brainstorming with the captain.
The tractor beam is 100% not going to be enough. The other idea I had was breaking off the back half of the ship and literally just putting it against the planet and then running the engines at full and seeing if it can just hold
I
it
feel like
for
that's
a long
Jared
really
Cherney wanted to point out
bad
That
things
sounds
are
like a
not
very
that
poor
desperate.
idea. I
Organ
don't know.
3 is already showing signs of instability, and he brings up on the screen an engineering of its unexpected journey. There's already signs of it tearing itself from the inside out.
Oh.
So the integrity of the planet is already weakened. So we're not up moving in a whole planet. This thing has already been wrecked. So moving it might only exacerbate and break things up.
Well, just holding it using the engines, literally like put engines
Yeah.
on that planet and hold it
Can
in
someone
place
give me
as
a
much as you
reason
could.
and science task?
with our own
Yeah.
kind of thing. Reason and science.
Difficulty 0.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, 1 success, 1 failure.
Okay, so take
The
so that's all right. So take so instead of you won't take any momentum. I'm just going to give you an answer here. Telecol planet has approximately 3 hours. Physics being what they are, there's no real way for the Horizon to generate enough energy to alter its course.
No.
And Organ 3 will crash into the Telecol planet in 3 hours.
And that's
But
and
Organ
it's like
3 is
Physics
already
being what
breaking
they
apart.
are, we need to change the laws of physics.
well, and that's the thing is that even if I do somehow manage to slow the movement of the larger planet, the smaller planet's still going to get pulled into its gravitational field and crash into it anyway. So, shit. The best thing we could do then is just try to divert any of the gravimetric disturbance
We
away
could.
from the M class and buy them time.
We could redirect some of those tidal forces through our own deflectors, which
Back
is what
at the
they're
planet?
for, and redirect it away from both of the planets, just out into space. And if we can do that, that might stop the more destructive. I don't know. No one's ever done that before.
It's certainly
We
worth
can aim it
trying,
at the
though.
Romulans.
Well, we've got a
We
ship
could
out
use
there
the
right
ship.
now. That's with the Romulans. I don't want to destroy him.
Maybe we could
They
use
owe
the
me
ship
10
as
credits.
like a dam, just holding back the worst of it.
Okay,
Let's give it a go.
let's do that.
Are we literally putting the ship in between the two planets that are both generating gravitational
And
force?
try to do what we can
The
to
best
hold
we
them
can.
both
Yeah.
off.
Cherney's there talking with one of the other engineers like about maybe moving the angle of the shields into such a way so that it can shunt the tidal forces, and we could move it into our buzzard collectors and maybe redirect the tidal stresses. It's just forms of energy, really.
Yep.
And we could
Yeah.
redirect that energy through the ship's hull towards the deflector dish and then vent it back out another direction.
You think this old girl can take that kind of pressure?
I mean, if we don't, everyone else is dead.
It's worth a go.
All right.
It's better than nothing.
Move all non-essential personnel into the disc. Just in the event that, we need to make a separation, get everybody else prepared for
We
emergencies.
should probably get them. If we're going in between those two planets and putting us right in the path of that thing,
We can't put them on shuttles and get them out there because they
Quill.
will get
we
destroyed.
should split before we go in the middle
What's
of
up?
it. Get them-
Quill, medical staff will need to be ready to provide radiation treatment for the crews as this is happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Cherney is saying it's a very likely that the deflector dish will probably be destroyed in this attempt.
Is the deflector dish on the back or the
It's,
front half?
it's that big dish at the front of the ship, that big blue dish at the
That's
very
this.
front, just
that's
underneath.
there. Okay,
And
so
it
it's not
moves
on the
there
disc.
to like move
It's on
debris out of
the-
the way as you're moving through space.
Okay, so do we want to then separate and send that in to do the heavy lifting and leave the disc sort of out of the way
That's
in
what
the
I think
event
is the
that
best call.
just to keep as few people in harm's way as possible?
I mean,
If
we-
things go to hell,
think
we
it's-
will not have the ability to separate and get them out of harm's way.
You may as
'Cause
well
they'll be-
separate them now.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll be in harm's way.
So I haven't said this yet so far as captain of this ship, so I'm going to say it now. Make it so.
who are you going to leave in command of the saucer section and the civilian and like non-essential personnel?
I'll leave Prince.
So Stephen Prince in command, and then you'll be taking the battle bridge and engineering with the star drive to turn the star drive into some kind of stopper. Between two crashing
Got to
clouds.
turn the back half of this ship into some kind of dam to hold off the massive gravimetric energies that are being put off
All right.
as best we can. Let's do this.
Should you fail, the Papa Bear will likely fail as well.
Should we fail, the Papa Bear will likely be crushed.
Back to the Triton. Actually, that's a good point to
Yeah.
end this episode.
Do we rolls or
No, that was
nope?
just setting
Okay.
up assignments and having your plan. The roles
All
are
right.
going to come in the second scene when you actually execute the plan. You just have to tell me what you were planning to do. So that's just a whole lot of setup. We've got Tredek
Indeed.
arriving to this platform. Don't pay attention to the hologram of this woman. This is the real problem.
It's rubble.
The Triton engaging, holding their own against the Romulans, but do they have an ally working for the other side? And the Horizon being like, sure, this is fine. We'll just put ourselves between two planets. What's the worst that can happen? Come back next week for our next episode of our finale run through the Living Campaign. 3 ships for the price of 1. I don't know if anyone's going to make it out of this. We'll find out for sure. I'm your game master, Justin Ecock, running us through this game, surrounded by my intrepid Starfleet officers, our captain of the Horizon.
Conal Macbeth, better known in the nerd community as Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawat, playing Captain Gavin Schofield.
Our chief medical officer getting his radiation medicine ready.
Neil Tavares of Neil T. Tattoos playing Teth Chobaquil.
You're going to be busy as
Yep,
soon as this plan
sure
starts.
am.
Sure will.
Our counselor standing back on the surface of a planet she didn't realize she was going to be back at so soon.
Erika Szabo. I am playing Vulcan counselor Tazar. Live long and prosper.
The Triton just in fight, just fighting it out all by herself.
winning.
And we're winning.
Joshua Barbeau playing Commander Conal Haddock, hoping for that promotion. Or he's either going to get a promotion or die trying.
He's going to die trying. And also on the planet with our counselor.
Science Officer Lieutenant Commander Bo Lassa, played by the Velvet Duke of the Dandies.
We'll be back next week for the next episode in our Living Campaign finale. Right here on The Terrible Warriors. Until then, bye.
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 The Terrible Warriors has new episodes out every Tuesday, and next week it's the 3rd chapter in our final run-through of the Star Trek Adventures Living Campaign. Whole lot of things are happening at the exact same time, and I think it's one of our most action-packed episodes we've ever recorded. To stay up to date on the show and the games we've got ready as we wrap up our season, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. And if you'll indulge me for just one moment, I want to tell you that we've teamed up with the Storm Crow Manor in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. If you're in the city, you should be booking a game with their DM and Dine program. You'll get a full meal and time with your friends to have a game run by me or any of the other members of the DM and Dine roster. Find out more, visit dmdineto.com. Of course, this podcast is possible because of Patreon supporters Those supporters gain access to some exclusive debrief episodes that we record every campaign, postcards that we send in the mail, and of course, private games that we run every month. We are a few weeks into an ongoing Ravenloft campaign and Scion campaign that we've been running, and it's been really cool. We're going to record some game reports for you so you can find out about that, as well as a very epic Masks story that we ran through. You're missing out. So think about it. If you'd like to support us in that way, head over to patreon.com/terriblewarriors and sign up for the private game that we'll run with you next month. Star Trek Adventures is published by Modiphius Entertainment, and The Displaced, the campaign we're playing, was written by Jim Johnson. And today's Terrible Warriors and your Starfleet officer is racing against time to stop a planet from crashing into another planet. Can I even do that? Conal Macbeth, Joshua Barbeau, Velvet Duke, Erika Szabo, Neil Tavares. With Game Master Justin Ecock, we will see you back here next week, right here on the Terrible Warriors.